What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another beautiful day. I am here with Alex, who is the CEO and founder of Kinkatopia, and I want you to tell them a little bit what Kinkatopia is.
Okay, so Kinkatopia is the only kinkajou sanctuary in the whole entire world. We are the only place, the only 501c3 that actually takes in specifically kinkajous, nothing else. We take them in permanently. We help facilitate placement nationwide, and we also research and document information internationally, so people know how to care for kinkajous that are in captivity. But we also advise very intensely against them being pets, because these are not an animal that many people should keep.
But a lot of people sell them as they should be animals that you should keep, but they realistically,
They're
bit
not
by
pets.
Kinkajou. It's not fun. No. But yeah, so you want to take us around some of these guys out here really quick?
Sure.
Well,
so
who will be awake?
So it is daytime, obviously. Kinkajous are nocturnal, so we just wanted to get some filming in so you guys can see these fantastic cages. They were actually built by Will, and they have been absolutely life-changing. Kinkatopia has taken on many different appearances over the 2 years. This is actually our 2-year anniversary month, which we're very proud of.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So now we have upgraded to these more professional cages. And I say more professional because they have these absolutely fantastic lockout parts of the enclosures. This allows me to feed the animals without having to enter the cages every single night, which is good because out here we have some of our more volatile kinkajous. I do house 2 girls in here, Chloe and Winnie.
Chloe loves me.
Chloe's very overwhelmed by Will's height. So she, in fact, I'm surprised. I know she's over there in her too, but she usually likes to throw herself against the cage, so she'll be super psyched later whenever she sees him. So Chloe and Winnie, Winnie's also somewhat aggressive. I cannot enter their cages, so this provides us the opportunity to be able to care for them and staying safe. They've also been absolutely spectacular whenever I'm on vacation, because kinkajous are very, very moody. They don't like a lot of change. They love their stability, so when their routine is altered, such as me being out of town, they get super upset. So this makes it so they are very easy to be fed and cared for when I'm away.
Does she like dinosaur toys?
She does. My little Jurassic Park girls. They actually all have dinosaur toys. I'm a big fan myself, so. And then over here we have Oliver, and we'll see here in a second if we can wake him up. He's usually really good at popping his head out to say hello. Oliver.
Oh, I see movement.
Can you pop his little head out?
Oliver. Hey, buddy.
Hi. Hi, bug. So this is Oliver. He's looking for snacks.
He's like, I see nothing in your hands.
I know. He's like, hey girl, what's going on? But he's super sweet. He's our oldest kinkajou, right? And he's a really great ambassador. Whenever people come for tours, we're able to typically bring them in here. If it's a smaller crew, they can come in and they can interact and feed him. I know.
Oh.
I know. They're no joke. That is absolutely for sure. So yeah, we've got these 3 wonderful cages, and then over here on the side we keep extra space for boarders. They're not the most attractive thing in the world, but they're for boarders, and then we also use them for outdoor play for our kinks.
So I met them through your fiance, Michael, who's standing behind the camera right now, because he is also a venomous keeper. He actually had gotten a alligator enclosure built first, and then Alex loved my work with it, so she wanted me to build more cages, which that one came first, and then the other 2, not even, 3 months ago? 2 months ago?
Yeah, in January. So they're about 6 months apart. Yeah.
So they came after, but yeah, I'm really happy they worked out for you.
No, they're awesome.
And
literally.
I'm happy that they love them too.
Yeah. No, they provide awesome space, awesome height. Like the kinks genuinely, absolutely enjoy it. I've noticed personality changes in them in a positive way now that they have the space.
Maybe that's why she hasn't come at me.
I know, right? Maybe she's actually grateful at this point. But
we'll come out here tonight and she's like, nope.
You guys will get to see the sassy lady. We actually have to transfer Chloe from out here inside tonight, so that'll be super exciting. But yeah, and we'll be able to see too how the lockout is actually more of a benefit beyond just feeding them, because we're going to get her into the lockout and then get her into her carrier through being in there. So it is very beneficial all around. But so yeah, this is just a little look at outdoor Kinkatopia.
So now that we are back inside with Alex in Kinkatopia, as she mentioned earlier, they are nocturnal. So when exactly does your day start with them?
So my day starts, actually, we can go as early as 7 a.m. because I do work a full-time job and I have to clean up after the all-night party. So I clean for them for an hour, and then I work my job. I come home, and typically like around 7 o'clock, what I do is I go into the room, the indoor room. I make sure that all of the cages are open because they have a 30 by 9 foot space that they run around in and, you know, get their energy out in. And then I make sure that I give them their appetizers. The indoor kinkajous get a appetizer of a handful of like fruits or something that we can put out there, because when they wake up they're hungry, and if they don't have something to bide their time with and fill their bellies, they actually start getting very destructive.
So they get hangry.
They get super hangry, that's exactly it. So they come out, they do their thing. There's 4 inside, all of 4 of them are very social, they hang out, and yeah, then around 10 o'clock they get their dinner. It's usually between 10 and 12 that I expect to spend my evenings with them. Every single evening, outside of food prep, it's a minimum of 2 hours that I'm dedicating just to interacting and feeding and doing my rounds with them. And then of course, like I mentioned earlier, there's all the cleaning on top of that.
The fun parts.
The fun parts, yeah, right? The parts that people like don't think about whenever, you know, they imagine us hanging out and playing with all of these wonderful animals. And then my weekends, I usually spend about 4 to 6 hours at least a day deep cleaning the rooms and making sure everything is locked and loaded and healthy and sanitized for them. So a lot of the diets are different because we have kinkajous on various diets here. Literally just some need to lose weight, some need to gain weight, and some just have particular likes and dislikes. So you'll see here, for example, this bowl here is for Arkham and Gotham. They don't like carrots, they don't have any carrots, and they love papaya. So we have papaya in there. This is for Trash Can and Binks. They have their carrots. We go really heavy on the greens because a lot of them here right now do need to be put on diets. So
Greens.
exactly. So I kind of fool them into thinking they're getting more food than they really are getting, because they are smart like that, and they will get super sassy if they think they're being shorted. It's crazy. I've had them before not eat their food because they have felt gypped in some way, like they haven't received something, or my personal favorite, we're gonna toss the whole bowl onto the floor. Yeah, so.
Swiper peas in his if he doesn't get what he wants. So.
Exactly. It's very relatable. Yeah, 100%.
So basically a lot of thought,
Yeah.
preparation, time, commitment, blood, sweat, tears, all that fun stuff
It's so true.
goes into this. But one thing that you did mention is enrichment, and
Yes.
I really like enrichment. I think it's super important, and like you said, too, that they get bored easily. They need a variety of stuff. So moving away from their diets and foods, because it looks like we're pretty
Locked
good.
and loaded. Yeah, I'm gonna get their appetizers. But no, let's definitely move on to enrichment because I really enjoy that as well.
The real fun part.
Yeah, the real fun part.
So here we are going to do some food enrichment for the kinkajous, and the importance and why we push enrichment so much, especially in captive, wild, exotic animals, is because they need a lot of stimulation and to be able to perform species-specific behaviors so they don't become self-mutilators. They get bored, destroy things. Can be the same thing with your dog, your cat. If they're too bored, they become destructive, all that fun stuff. So this is leaning towards having them forage, so it gets out behaviors that they would do in the wild, gets them stimulated, they spend time doing it. So with the kinkajous, she's going to talk a little bit more about exactly what they do with their enrichment.
Yeah, for sure. So these are just one of the various items we use for enrichment at Kinkatopia. We have a whole array of items, puzzles, different activities. I love enrichment. It's a lot of fun. So as Summer mentioned, species specific. So we're dealing with an animal that has the intelligence of a 3-year-old Personally, I think they're smarter. They learn, they evolve to their environment. They're very, very smart. When they don't have activities like this, they are peeling the paint off of my walls, peeling the tinting off of my walls. They know how to open my sliding glass doors to their enclosure. We have to keep everything locked. So they get into a lot of mischief. They do really naughty things. They take apart the camera that's in there. They take apart our vandal-proof light fixtures.
Wait.
They're not.
Have you ever woken up with one in your bed with you?
On my chest, laying on my chest?
Yeah, something.
I can't say that I have because I'm super OCD. So I always joke and say I'm using my powers for good and not evil, and I obsessively check locks. So knock on wood, to this day, yes, I have not woken up with one on my chest.
Could you imagine?
I could.
It's just licking your face.
I could imagine. Yeah, I know.
Or mutilating it, depending on which one.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of these guys here would probably not be doing the nicest things to us. But, so species specific. So in the wild, they are spending all of their nighttime foraging for food. They, during the day, they sleep in kind of like their territory, right? And it's typically 2 males and a female. They sleep in like a tree hole or something like that, and then they are off foraging throughout the night in solitary. So we need to mimic that in captivity, otherwise they will, like Summer mentioned, they'll get bored, they can self-mutilate, they can also get very aggressive. So if they have all this energy, and if they don't have any place to put it, it's going to come out sideways, and they're going to take it out on their owners, they're going to take it out on themselves, they're going to take it out in the environment around them. So we are constantly utilizing enrichment to keep them busy, to keep them foraging, you know, and it's been really, really cool because we've given them some activities to do, and you can see their minds work and work and work, and then like they need to take a nap afterwards because they've totally, like, their little minds are blowing. We also do a lot with training. I have an animal trainer on my board of directors, and she comes here once a week, and she runs them through a bunch of activities just to keep their minds going, and I carry through with those activities through the week, and you know, that too is a huge, huge benefit to keeping them enriched and happy. So we love enrichment here at Kinkatopia.
It's definitely fun. There's a lot of different types you can do too, to get all the behaviors and things that they would normally do out.
All right, so this is Chloe. Chloe was the first one to join Kinkatopia. Michael jokes because, you know, I got this idea in my head that this was what I was gonna do. He's like, yeah, sure, have a nonprofit for kinkajous, an organization with tons of kinkajous here. And
it started.
Come on. Yeah, right? Good girl. So, oh, sorry, girl. So he said, yeah, no problem, it's totally okay. Because he didn't think that, you know, there'd be any kinkajous to surrender. Joke's on him. Within 48 hours, we got a call about Chloe. And she was the first one to join us 3 weeks later. So she's been with us the longest outside of Arkham and Gotham, who were my personal pets. Kinkajous are not pets, and I'll go more into depth about how we started and why. Because that is a story for Arkham. But we are going to get Chloe, we're going to get Chloe into this enclosure here, into this crate, because we need to bring her inside. So let's see how we are going to do this. So
It's me.
okay.
Oh my god.
That's a good lady.
I told you.
Exhibit A.
She hates me.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
wow,
gonna
and
help
she's
you.
crushed. Thanks, Chloe. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking if you can
You guys ready?
open it just
slowly. Okay.
Yeah, and
I'll
if you
tell you when to
overshoot it,
stop.
she's going to be able to get out.
Okay, we'll stop.
Oh, sorry.
Look, Chloe, come over here. Come on, watch your fingers.
All right, so maybe,
Okay.
oh, okay. Maybe like another,
We'll move it
a
like.
little bit more, like
Oh,
not
shh,
even an entire inch.
No, don't move.
But it's got to come out a little bit more, I think, from her shoulders. Yeah.
Okay, close it a little bit. Close it a little bit. Okay.
Come on, Chloe.
I don't know if she can slip out the side down at the bottom.
No.
No, she's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need her to come forward, which might take a little bit of time, but come on, Chloe.
Did you put a treat in there?
Yeah. so much patience with these animals.
You have to be.
Come on, Chloe. Hi, Chloe. Hi, lady. How are you? She's gonna come for those gummies.
All right, so are you gonna slide that down and then I'll close this? All right.
She's
the tail. Should I just hold one out for him?
Yeah, he's very gentle. He'll take it right from your hand. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna get him all set up with his food.
Here, baby.
Good
Would you like
boy.
it?
Good boy. He's very gentle. And Oliver is a huge fan of enrichment.
And gummies.
Even bigger fan of gummies.
Him and I have something in common.
There we go. Oh, good boy. Maybe he'll look. Nope.
He's like, I think she still has something. I have one more after this.
Okay. Good boy.
You can check the camera out?
Yeah, he was just gonna be interested. Perfect. Cool. You got your one more, buddy.
Come here, little chunk.
Yeah, he's good. Come in now.
So this is probably what people think they're going to be like.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Hi, honey. Here. Yes, this is what people think they're going to be like. And Oliver is relatively calm. However, he's 13. Now, these guys can live up until... The record in captivity is 40 years. Your average that you're looking at is probably 25 to 30 years. And they do, you know, when they launch into those double digits, they do calm down a little bit. But again, then that's getting 10 years into an animal. Oliver, I do not hold him. You know, this is pretty much it. He likes to hang. When he comes into the house, he likes to hang out. But when I say that, it's not like I'm sitting there cuddling him. I'm not truly socializing with him. He's just like hanging out and coexisting around me, you know. He's laying on a cat tree watching me do stuff. He's
It's not the relationship people think they're gonna get.
It's not a relationship like with a cat or a dog. You know, and we'll see the higher energy with the other kinks. But, you know, this is it's just not. It's, oh my goodness, he's my lettuce monster. He's eating his kale. Good boy.
Eat those greens.
But, you know, and Oliver, so we're his third home, and he was part of an exhibit business for his first 2 years. And then he lived with a family for 10 years. He was good for exhibits, but then he was getting really overwhelmed with crowds. They retired him. He lived with a family for 10 years, and he was relatively good with the family. However, if they forced him to do something, like say they were trying to get him out of his cage or into his cage, and, you know, they were trying to run his show, he would get upset, and he did bite a couple times. And I know that he really didn't like their son. Just for some reason, he wasn't into it, and he would go after the son. So, you know, they had to alter their life, essentially, to be able to make sure he had adequate housing outside. And, you know, and that was that. And he was out there for a while, and then he started to lose some weight, and you can see he's got patchy fur. And the daughter reached out to me. They were concerned, and they were just concerned that they weren't giving him, you know, the life that he deserved. And so he wound up here like many of the other kinks. So he's obviously put on a lot of weight. He's on a diet, so we're trying to get him back to a bit lighter, probably by a pound. The patchy fur, it just is what it is. We've had him to a vet. He's healthy, you know, so he is. He's just a gentleman.
So Alex, what just happened here? You gotta make this quick because my phone's about to die, or the camera's about to die.
Well, things don't go as planned. So Chloe, we tried to get her.
That's Michael, everybody. Michael's photographing
My
stuff.
fiance Michael. So we're trying to get Chloe into this enclosure. And like anything in my day, I have like this vision of how it's gonna go. Trash! So don't take my picture. I have a vision of how it's gonna go, so we tried to open this and get her in. And Chloe's smart enough, she knows the drill, so she goes up. So she came up and out. I can capture her like she was a giant bug.
It kind of looks like
in
that
this
too.
enclosure. Yeah, so now we need to get Chloe from here into there.
I mean, I can sit inside since she loves me so much and just run around really quick and you close the door behind me.
Fortunately, she hasn't been in here since, I think, last fall. It's been a while, so all of this is new to her, so she's relatively neutral right now. However, I can't grab her. I can't do much with her, you know, right now. I have to try to get her in there.
Uh-oh, there's a cat.
Without hands on. Excuse me, sir.
But it's a
taking
cat
advantage
tree.
of this situation, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so round 2.
Round 2. Come on, Chloe.
She's like, I don't know.
She's like, there's no pastry waiting for me.
I know, right?
Oh. And then she's in. Oh.
Now I just need for her to come down. And when she's down,
Wait. And nope.
why don't, do you mind pulling the slide some so she can move to the other side of the cage?
Oh, no, that brought her closer to you. No. Oh, God. I put my hand too close. Look, come down here. My hand's down here. Come attack it down here. That'll work. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there we go.
Well, turn into a tray.
Alex,
This will be your move. Make your move.
come on. Close it, Alex. Yeah. It worked. I don't know if I got it on camera, but it worked. God, she hates me.
I have my assistant. Everything's fine.
Who's your assistant?
Can
Oh.
I please have the zip ties?
How many?
2, 4, 500. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. All right, so we have Chloe inside now after a little bit of trial and error. Everything went well. No one was injured in the making of this film. And
Yet.
yeah. And Alex is going to show us a little bit of the indoor kinkajou setup.
Yes, I am. So, we're going to start over here, as you guys have already seen Chloe. So we have lined the indoor room with enclosures so we can lock the kinkajous up in case of an emergency, for quarantine, all sorts of things of that nature. They've been very beneficial. So Chloe, like we said, is in here overnight because we're going to have some alterations done on her cage. So she is here, and I will walk you guys around here to take a look and meet some of the other kinks. This is Binks. This is our greater kinkajou that I mentioned. So he's only 2 years, he's big boy. He's our little Ewok, but he's absolutely a gentleman. Good job. So he and another kinkajou named Trash Can are loose in here 24/7. However, as we come down a little further, I'm going to introduce you guys to Arkham. You see, we got all the kinkajou motif going on, right? We've got the vines, we've got the tunnels because they are arboreal. They like to spend most of their time up off the ceiling. Here he is! So this is Arkham. Arkham was my first kink that I mentioned that I got as a pet. I met a kinkajou, and 48 hours later, I was very responsible. I took a loan out from my bank. and I bought Arkham from a local exotic shop. And I do not recommend doing any of these things. So I'm literally the person that I fight against today because I went against all of my better judgment, what I thought was good judgment at the time, and I brought home a kinkajou. So Arkham was super sweet during his first year. They're adorable as babies. They're tiny, they're active, they have baby teeth. Like, they're fun, they are. Now they're higher energy and they're nocturnal, and you need to provide them with a lot of space. You need to bond with them, so it's also not, a cat or a dog that you can bring home and, it's easy to work with. Here, Bethany. Side note, I'm feeding him Annie's gummies, which are very healthy. They're like the healthiest gummies on the market. So they love them, but these are not bad for him. So anyway, so I brought him home, and I brought home a mate for him when he was 6 months old, who's in this enclosure as well. And I had him, and he was wonderful, but I went against everyone's advice when I was supposed to neuter him, and they were telling me that he wouldn't be pet quality, pet friendly, and I wouldn't be able to handle him, and sure enough, he started biting. Arkham is a latcher, so these guys have giant canine teeth, and when I say he's a latcher, he bites through skin, bone, muscle, he bites in there, and he locks his jaw. So he started unpredictably biting. Come here, bud. He started unpredictably biting, and I could no longer handle him, so I had to learn how to have a different relationship with him. And through guidance of a mentor that I found, she helped me find solutions to changing my approach to how I worked with him. It took me a really long time to come up with finding someone who had adequate knowledge. Kinkajous are very overrepresented in the pet trade and very underrepresented when it comes to information. So I really couldn't find anyone. I couldn't find a specialist, I couldn't find a veterinarian who had the experience, and there were few owners that I came across, but fortunately I did find someone who ran a sanctuary and shared my story. And she suggested that I provide him with lots of space. I train him to be able to work into my lifestyle, and basically I meet him more than halfway and make sure that all of his needs are satisfied. So that's where I'm at with Arkham, and that's really where Kinkatopia came from. So I had a 501c3 at that point. I was working with captive wildlife and exotics. And I really saw through my experiences with Arkham that there needed to be a community, there needed to be education out there about them, and there certainly needed to be education against them being your stereotypical pet. So Kinkatopia was born 2 years ago in March 2018, and we have created an innovative training program. We are documenting information about diet, about enrichment, everything that these guys need to be provided with a quality life. These are not an animal that are recommended as your average pet. When I say that, I'm not saying that no one should have them. I'm just saying that there are very few people out there that have the time, the money, the patience, and the unconditional love to be able to provide them with what they need. So although you see Arkham in this enclosure, during a normal evening, he's got full run of this room up until about midnight, and then he goes in here with his wife, as I call her, Gotham, and they spend their evenings in here just because he is, one of our more risky animals here.
All right, so Alex just gave us a little rundown of the inside of Kinkatopia and shared the story. And if you guys are interested, they actually provide a keeper evening that you guys do where you can actually get involved. So she's going to tell you guys a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. So we do have a monthly event now. We call it the Kinkatopia Keeper Evening. We've gotten a lot of questions about do we do tours and how can people get involved. So now we offer this monthly evening where people can come and experience what we do on a day-to-day basis. It starts out with some physical hard work where we deep clean the entire inside, then we take care of any needs outside. Followed by dinner, which is provided by Kinkatopia. Then we're going to do a tutorial on how to work with the animals, how to handle them, kind of like a Q&A, but we're going to make sure that you guys are comfortable, that you have the necessary information to be able to work with the animals. Then, I love this part, we actually are going to sit and we're going to prepare all of their dinners for the evening, and then we're going to make their enrichment, which is super cool because we can get really creative there. And then the rest of the evening, this event is from 4 to 10. So from about 8 o'clock on, when the kinks wake up, we are going to spend the rest of the evening going around, interacting with them. We have our trainer here, so you can run them through some of their exercises. It's super, super cool. And then I always like to say, you can take all the selfies that you want with Trash Can and Binks. They will be out. And it's really cool. It's a great way to get involved, and it can also satisfy community service hours, which is great too.
Yeah, so that's something if you guys are interested in. We are going to put all that information down in the description for you guys to either check out, donate. There's a website. Her Instagram information will also be at the end of the video, so if you guys want to reach out to her for any information, questions, planning a visit, whatever, you can do that with Alex. So that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for spending an evening with us. This was awesome.
Well, thank you for having us. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for having us out, Alex.
Absolutely.
And thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. We are going to have a lot of funny bloopers and behind the
Really
scenes
funny, good stuff, I promise.
from this episode that you guys will be able to check out shortly. And remember, smash that like button, hit the little bell notification.
Close.
And-
No. Subscribe if you are not already. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Turn on your little bell notifications so you can see when we post.
And we will see you guys.
And say bye.
And
say
we
bye.
will see you guys in the next one.